Another episode of That Crazy Triangle Guy. We're looking at the Bitcoin US dollar index on the 1 day time frame, on the 1 hour time frame, and I'm showing you about a 2.5% move downwards from here, this local top here, down to where we just bounced off this green line. And why am I doing that? Because yesterday, this is the importance of liking, subscribing, and checking back in the comment section of this channel. Yesterday at 2:25, 13 hours ago or so, I posted this comment that it wouldn't surprise me if we drop back down to retest the 100-day moving average and the top of the ascending triangle that we broke out at. I called 26,627. And you can see here that we wicked down. Well, if we zoom in a little closer, it's 26,617. $10 away from the target. So that information could have been very useful to those of you that do that type of trading. I don't. I'm in here for the long term. Perhaps with my IRA account, I may try to increase my Bitcoin exposure, my Bitcoin savings once we start moving upwards on some pullbacks, but not at this point. But a lot of you do trade this way, and if you trade with leverage, you could have made a nice little bundle there. Now, so what are we doing? All we're doing, and for those of you that are freaked out of your mind because we're dumping, it would reassure you that all we're doing is retesting the top of this ascending triangle. If I zoom out here, and I should probably switch to a daily view. And you can clearly see I got moving averages turned on too. Why don't I turn those off? You can clearly see in green the ascending triangle, which I'm talking about. So if we've recently broken above that, came down and retested it, you know what our next move is. You should know what our next move is. And it's a bounce back up into this area that I called the other day. We went from over here where we were, we did continue on upwards into these major levels of support and resistance, which were the upper band, the top of the daily Gaussian channel, the 200 weekly, the 200 daily, the 100 daily. I think they were all coming together right there. And so we did see a rejection off that. We're seeing a retest right here of the top of our ascending triangle. And now we really want to see a closure today above the mean band here, around 26.9, or one of these other lines. Hopefully, it'd be nice if we just if we came all the way up and had one of those long wick candles and closed right where we started the day, around 27,400. That would be beautiful. Or even if we went higher than that. So looking for a close upwards today, probably 26.9 to just over 2,700. Maybe right at where the 50-day moving average is, right around 27 and some change, between 27 and 27.1. So possibly around there. It'd be nice if we could close above that. I don't know, maybe we'll see a rejection and close somewhere in this range between 27, 27.1. Yeah, I think that, because we'll be waiting for the CPI numbers that come out tomorrow. That's what this blue line, vertical line represents. Now this green line, while we're here, represents the deadline for the GBT, for the SEC to respond to the court's 45-day deadline for the GBTC approval or disapproval or whatever. And it's funny that a lot of people just were talking about this yesterday, and I had wondered, why isn't anybody talking about this? I've been talking about it for the past month since the case happened. I even put this green vertical line on my chart marking the deadline. This is a potential approval of a Bitcoin spot ETF, or the conversion anyway of GBTC. The other deadline, which is funny, these idiots, and I don't call them idiots, because all they do is repeat stuff that they hear, and they're not analytical. They're not providing you with any. They're just repeating news lines and what they've been. They're puppets. The next critical. Well, there's something in November. I'll do another video on this because I don't have the chart with the deadlines on it. But a lot of the final deadlines are way over here in, I can't go over there now. In January 10th is when it's the final deadline for, no, I think it's just ARC21 shares. It's the deadline for that one. So the SEC has to make a decision by then. They can't deny ARC and then approve the others in March. I guess they could and make ARC refile, but that's stretching it. The major deadline now is January 10th, if not this week. Anyway, I had to rant on about that a little bit. So tomorrow, after we get the CPI numbers, which who knows, with the PPI being a little bit high, I don't think CPI it's all supposed to be coming down. I think it's going to be just fine. I think the market just wants to see if it like went off the charts in a bad way, but I don't think it will. So with the release of those numbers, I see us pumping back up. We're going to have to get back through these major tests here, all those moving averages and the top of the daily Gaussian channel. Maybe tomorrow we do that, and wow, with good news, Friday we should blow right through the rest of this stuff. But if we don't get approval, I imagine it's closing somewhere up in this area. I think we will get above the top of the daily Gaussian channel and the other moving averages and stay above them on this next try coming up. We've had a couple tries at least. Let's see if I can go back more. I don't know. We've at least had a couple tries. I think I remember saying something about third time's a charm, but I don't really see a third time here on the daily. No, I wasn't prepared to talk. Oh, you know what? Maybe I was talking about this upper trend line here. I'm not sure. Anyway, we will be. You know what? That's funny. Because tomorrow, this trend line here is also at play. So that adds a fourth level of resistance. So we can break through and stay above that. That would be sweet. And all that is taking place around 27,800 or so and some change. But I haven't made a video in a while because everything I've talked about already is still at play. This is our next area that we will be trading in. I wanted to zoom out because this is important. So also here, the reason why I saw us coming and testing this right here, because this is also where our major trend line of support and resistance is. Now we may wick down here through here a little bit. We have in the past, so don't worry if that happens today. Should want to see it close at or above this line at 26,700 something. Anyway, I've gone over this videos in the past. You can see the red and green dashed line goes. You know, I'm going to change to a weekly just to re-go over Bitcoin's pattern that it does. Now that orange and green line is this thick bundle of lines down here. Just zooming out for a second so you can see. It was where we had the bottom. This is November to January of 22-23. And you can see how we did come below it a little bit, and we've done that in the past, but you can see how price action has followed this. In March, we wicked down, that's February, March, we wicked down to it. Here we didn't come down all the way, here we came down to it, and I will zoom out, and we came down to it here for the COVID crash. It was support and resistance here. This is where we traded right along it. You can see how price action follows this trend line, and that's what we are currently doing. And the trend line goes all the way back to our high, right to the top of our high in May. June of 2011. And Bitcoin has spot price action has followed the parallel channel that this trend line is the bottom of. You can, so I would suggest you go back and watch the video. I'm going to have to number my videos so I can refer to them easily, but the one that talks about I don't know. You'll figure it out in the headlines if you're in the titles if you're smart. But Bitcoin makes essentially in the zoomed out version. Excuse me. It's making a bull flag here in this channel, and then we have our parabolic run here. Another bull flag, parabolic run, bull flag, parabolic run, bull flag, and we are at the parabolic. We are starting the parabolic run phase, and I don't want to get misquoted as saying I think we're starting the parabolic run right now. I think we are starting a run that will lead through January, and then we'll see a pullback. And I'll have to create a video that goes over this more in detail, because currently we've in the past we've had a pump and then a pullback and then a lot of sideways in both previous cycles. This cycle we've had a long sideways, and we haven't quite had that pump yet. So I think we're just doing it in reverse. We're going to have a little pump and a pullback, just like the purple lines I've drawn here. Pump here up to about 58.62 into the end of the year in January, a pullback to 48 at the halving, and then we'll start continuing upwards, and in late June I believe is when the parabolic run starts, and this follows all of the parallel channels to a T that we have done year after year after year after year after year, cycle after cycle. And if I were to zoom in more, and I'd want to do this on my computer so you have a better view, but you can see how price action follows exactly all these channels over the course of 13 years that are all perfectly parallel to one another. Trading action follows everything to a T. And So I was going to say another thing, and I forget what it was. And you can see here, essentially, we've been trading in this smaller parallel channels. We're always trading in some sort of parallel channel. Oh, the breakout from the triangle. Let's go back to a daily view. So we are having this retest of the top of this ascending triangle. And if this holds, I expect that we will fulfill this target, this yellow line. I put it here where we broke out, and that's up to about 30,000, which would be it's around the top of this other parallel channel that is not parallel to the other parallel channels. It's kind of pulling us away from it's pulling us off of this long major trend line. But that's up around 30,000 right there. And that makes sense because that's where that parallel channel is interacting. Let's see where that parallel channel interacts. Right up here with that. That's giving us about the weekend. I wonder if Friday, October 20th, we will be right just a hair under around 30,000. And maybe see a little pullback from there. I don't know. But anyway, well, we'll have time to think about it over the course of the next week. And let's just zoom in again and see where we're at right now currently. Okay, we are coming down through here a little bit. So we'll see what happens. It's okay for us to wick through. As a matter of fact, let us do go on a daily. Now, I'm not tuned into any news right now, so I'm not sure what else is going on. Something else blew up or something, I don't know. Maybe that's what's causing all this. Let's just see below this major trend line of support. Scroll back here. I'm following the red and green line right here. So you can see now back in this is November and November to January, the FTX collapse right there. You know, I don't know, I'd have to really analyze this for a second to see potentially how far down we could go. I don't think it's going to be as far as this. However, that parallel channel I was talking about does have its origin. Well, it just happened to also when I drew it way up where we're at currently and extended the lines. It just happens to be a trend line of support for this low here. So that's something to think about. Let's just go back and look at that again. Yeah, that's the only interaction with that play right there. You know, it is possible we do come down here 25.8, 25.7 to the mean band of the 5-day Gaussian channel. Now, if we were to come all the way down to the mean band of the weekly Gaussian channel and the bottom of that ascending triangle, Maybe that's where the bears are trying to get us to. 24,958. That would not be good. We don't want to set in a new low lower than this. Wow. I think that's what they're trying to do. No, I don't think we're going to get down that far. That would be crazy. Maybe we get to these guys around 25.8. I don't even. Let's see. We really don't want to come down below this area here at around 26,000. Yeah, I think we're going to hold here at 26. We're right where we're trading right now. They're just wicking through. This is a scary wick right here. It's all going to get bought up. This is what they're trying to do, by the way. This is a mass accumulation phase, and the big boys are just effing with everybody and trying to scare you out of the market. And when they do scare you, they're sucking up all your coins. So you'll hear a big sucking sound, as Ross Perot said. You remember Ross Perot? All you youngins remember Ross Perot and the big sucking sound in the 80s. Late 80s, I think it was. Sucking all the jobs out of America. That's what we did. He was right. But hopefully we will bring. Anyway, we won't. Well, yeah, we need jobs. We need good blue-collar jobs in America. We need industry in America. Can't rely on other countries for our industry and our oil, our energy. Not necessarily oil for all you greenies out there. No, and we all want to take care of our environment. It's just that people have different views on how much various things impact the environment. Anyway, now I'm starting to ramble. I do pick up trash off the street when I see it. And yell at people and start fights with people for littering. So there you go. Excuse me. So that's about it. Expect to see a bounce here, and then we'll get into more stuff later on. I don't think you're going to hear anything more here if you stick around. This is our next level we'll be pumping to over the course of the next week, I believe, right here. Or two. But this is the moment we've all been waiting for the last couple weeks of October. And Bitcoin's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Not doing anything scary here. It's exactly what it's done time and time again, as I've showed you. Now on the daily time frame, I have erased our current triangle that we're trading in our parallel channel. But here you can see all of these channels. Right along here, this is 2016, and then this is currently where we're at. Now, this doesn't mean we're just going to go right up here. From here, this is November, and over here is April. So, it's a good 6 months or so. And that's right where we're at right now. Same over here. We're, right about here in this area. We're going to go up, down, up, and then our run over here. This is a longer period here. This is about a year because of COVID. So really, I think we're more like up in this area. April. That's a longer stretch there. But here, I don't have those channels. The bull flag channels. I erased them off of the daily because there was too many lines. But we're right here, and well, we know where we're at. We're exactly right about here, and so October is 10. About 6 months is April. That takes us over to the halving, and everything's Bitcoin's doing exactly what it's supposed to. We're going to pump into the end of the year, pull back, and then start our parabolic run. Oh, everybody's talking about this 48,000. A lot of people, I hear 48,000 mentioned over and over and over again, and I don't know where everybody came from. And I have heard something about Fibonacci or whatever. I get it from right here, this top. Second top, I've gone over this in the previous video. This is how you find out the price at the halving. The second top from our all-time high is the price at the halving. The price at where we start the parabolic run is, you have to go to a weekly, you have to go to your Gaussian channel, turn that on, and you can see the price at the parabolic run is the top of the weekly Gaussian channel extended right there at 57,000. I put my X. Price at halving, price at parabolic run, and I forget why I got $62,000 range. I think I was going off a previous price action, but it says somewhere in a previous video. You go back here, top of the weekly Gaussian channel, that reddish purplish line. Scroll over, parabolic run started right there. Halving was right here. At this second high. Go back to this previous time. Now here, the halving price is actually above. This is the second high right here. It's actually above the top of the weekly Gaussian channel. And if you scroll over here, the blue lines are the halving. Price at halving was right there. If you zoom in, it went up above it and then came back down. Even in the weeks before, it went through it and came back down to that price at the halving. And then we started our parabolic run shortly a couple months after, right here, where the weekly Gaussian channel, the top of the weekly Gaussian channel, and we've done that over and over and over again. And we will do that one more time here in March and June, April and June. All right, like, subscribe, and see you next time.